Okay, today we are talking about how a dehumidifier works. Types of dehumidifiers. So first type is called a desiccant dehumidifier. They remove moisture from the air using a rotating desiccant rotor or wheel. The wheel is a honeycomb structure consisting of hygroscopic membranes, which basically means that membrane likes to absorb and hold on to water. A fan draws moist air into the unit and forces the air through an air filter and a portion of the desiccant rotor as it slowly spins. As the air passes through the rotor, the honeycomb of hygroscopic membranes absorb almost all of the moisture in the airstream. Most of this airstream is discharged directly through the dry air outlet back into the facility or your building or whatnot. However, a portion of the air is separated and directed in the opposite direction via a second fan through a ceramic heater bank or a regen heater where its temperature is raised. This air is then directed back through a portion of the rotor. As this air passes back through the membranes, its higher temperature drives out the previously absorbed moisture in the wheel and discharges it as warm wet air through the wet air out duct, usually made of ABS, to the exterior of the building. One thing to note when installing one of these desiccant dehumidifiers, that wet air out duct needs to be sloped slightly away or down towards the exterior of the building. You don't want the pipe to be perfectly level or slope back towards the dehumidifier, because any moisture in that duct, you want it to drain out of the building, not back towards the dehumidifier, if that makes sense. Second type of dehumidifier is a refrigerant dehumidifier. They utilize a refrigeration circuit very similar to an air conditioner. Warm, moist air is drawn into the unit via a fan through an air filter. The air then passes over a cold evaporator coil. This causes the moisture in the air to condense on the cold evaporator coil. The moisture then drips down into a collection pan. The moisture is then collected in a holding tank that needs to be emptied periodically, or some units just have a drain outlet, as you see here on this unit in the picture, and you can divert that directly to the nearest drain. Now, at the same time, some of the heat energy in the incoming air is given off to the cold refrigerant flowing through the evaporator coil. The air then passes through the condenser coil and out the unit slightly warm but dry.
Wow.
Condensate drain options. So here's our dehumidifier, and there's a couple different drain options. Some dehumidifiers will have, again, a water tank like this. You simply slide the water tank out, dump the water down the sink or in the toilet, put it back in, etc. Some units will have a drain like this unit that you see, and you would just direct your drain hose or drain pipe directly to the nearest floor drain like this, for example. If there's not a floor drain or any other type of drain nearby, you could direct the drain water to one of these condensate drain pumps. The condensate drain pump is controlled by a float switch. So when the float switch floats up inside that reservoir, it turns the pump on. As the water gets pumped away, the float switch will turn the pump off once the water level drops low enough. So then you would also, again, need to make sure you divert the discharge tubing to a drain or outside the building. Condensate drain water reclamation. So you don't have to dump the condensate drain water directly down the drain. It can be reused in certain circumstances. One important thing to note, untreated condensate drain water is not safe to drink. Do not drink it. Do not give it to your pets. Why? Well, if you think about it, that water that condenses on the evaporator coil, if that evaporator coil was soldered together with, lead-based solder, which is very rare these days, or if it has biological contaminants starting to develop on the coil, you don't want to drink that. Especially if the unit hasn't been maintained, or the evaporator coil hasn't been cleaned, or the drain pan hasn't been cleaned for a long time. You get the idea. However, once condensate is tested safe, meaning it's been tested, there's no high metals, no lead, if it's been filtered and sanitized, the drain water can be used to water plants, and you can actually water your plants just with the untreated condensate drain water. That's fine. But you can use that condensate drain water to fill mop buckets, to wash cars, use as makeup water in a gray water reclamation system. Gray water reclamation system collects gray water, filters it, sanitizes it, and then redistributes it to fill and flush toilets, wash laundry, irrigation, etc. You can use it also as makeup water in industrial process, such as parts cleaners, water cooling tower makeup water, etc. So routine maintenance. You want to clean or change the air filter. Some units have disposable filters. Some units have reusable filters. Keep the condensate drain line clear and clean. Or if you have the type of dehumidifier that has a water tank, make sure you empty that water tank out regularly. Don't let the water just sit there stagnant for a long period of time. Inspect the unit for odd noises. Is there a burnt electrical smell? Is it vibrating? Etc. And the units, the Desiccant dehumidifiers, you may have to replace that Desiccant wheel as needed. Again, always refer to your manufacturer's instructions and the owner's manual for all of the maintenance on your dehumidifier. I hope this information helps you. Now, one last option for you. Say in your house, you don't think you need a big dehumidifier, or humidity is only a problem a few months out of the year. You might be able to get away with doing one of these Damprid moisture absorber buckets. They also offer some that you can hang like a clothes hanger in the closet. I know I lived in North Carolina for a few years, and that's what we used in our house during the summertime when it was humid, and that resolved the issue of collecting any excess moisture in the air in the house. These you do have to replace every so often, depending on how much moisture is in the air, of course. And these, once they fill up, you simply throw them away, dump them down the drain, etc. Please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and thanks for watching.